And I am live. Happy Monday. I hope that you have all gotten home safely after a day's work. And for those that perhaps work from home, I hope that you are wrapping it all up because you need to spend some time with your loved ones. You need to take a break from work. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time today. It's the beginning of a new week. I'm starting a new series, something of great importance to myself, and I thought I would talk about it today. And you may probably have seen from the header, it's about children's education. And I believe this topic is directed mainly to immigrants like myself, for those of us that have had our children start education back home, their home country, and then they come to this country, or even any developed country, and they are shocked, sometimes mostly disappointed, because they feel that the children are being taught backwards. They understand the way the education system works. And I thought that this might be a very good topic to talk about because I know that many people are struggling with it. And today, I think what I want to do this evening is to introduce the topic. And in the following days, I will be touching on some topic points that I have seen that is commonly asked, commonly asked questions. Right. So, my children started their education here in England. I was very fortunate to have had them here. So, there was no transfer of education. But I was educated back in my home country in Nigeria. And Omo Igbo ni me. You can call me Omo Igbo, you can call me Omo Yoruba by marriage, anything you want, because I'm from Delta, and Omo Naija ni me. Well, how do they say it in Igbo? I think I'm more Yoruba than Igbo, to be honest, at this point. But you know what? It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we are one Nigeria by the grace of God. Forget about all the rubbish that is happening right now in the country. Hopefully, things will get better. But if you are a parent and you are immigrating, you've just come to the United Kingdom, and you feel that your children, it feels like they are going a step backwards, I'm here today to reassure you. I grew up in Nigeria and I was educated in Nigeria. And I tell you one thing for a fact is that the education system back here and back home is world apart. So I think the problem we have in back home is that we learn by rote. And what do I mean? They don't engage our minds. They just tell us what we need to know to pass our exams. And then they give us tips on how to pass the exams in form of past questions. And your learning is just one way, one directional. There is no exploration. The mind is not necessarily engaged. And for those that have primary school children, they are the ones that I find that have a lot of complaints about the education system, that they force them to memorize a lot of things. I was A couple of years ago, I spoke to a friend of mine, and she was telling me that her 2-year-old could count 1 to 200. And I'm like, what? Your 2-year-old can count 1 to 200? Oh my goodness. That is a lot for a small brain like that. Let me just share this live. Please, if you are joining me, I would appreciate a share. Share the live, share to your family, and um, share to anyone that you think that might benefit it. Please, I'm not here to say that what is happening back home is not. Um, if you're there, then you're there. But I will encourage you to be more. That's why you have to be present. It's one thing for the teacher to teach in the classroom. It's another thing for you to do something else at home with them and try to engage their young, curious minds. It's very important that we do that because the system here has taught me that they encourage people when learning to do a lot of research, right? They encourage you to think outside the box. They don't give you everything that you need at once, and it gets even harder as you progress. So if you want to do a master's, like you literally go to the class and the teacher will talk to you for 40 minutes on the topic, and he will tell you he's done. He'll give you a list of things you need to know about it, like the topic area. And when you go and do your own personal reading, you'll find out that the topic is as wide as whatever. But he's not going to teach that topic again. He's just going to tell you research, use your knowledge, ask questions, do some deep dive, find out, figure it all out. You know, that's how it was when you did masters. When I did my masters here. But I just think that I'd like to remind you that when you come into a system, you need to learn to adapt instead of complaining. When you change your environment, they say when you go to Rome, behave as the Romans do. And there is merit and there is merit to the way or to their approach here. I can see it because my children have started from here. My son did not need to learn 1 to 200 times table. Sorry, want to count 1 to 200 at the age of 2. Their brain is too young for that heavy duty kind of work. And I don't understand why it's encouraged back home. So, if you have a child in primary school, for example, and you immigrate to a new country, using the UK as an example, it begins to feel like your child is not necessarily challenged enough, but that's okay. So there are different types of challenges. If you're expecting that he will come to meet a group of 4-year-olds, for example, that can count 1 to 1,000, it's not going to happen. Unfortunately, you're not going to meet any 4-year-old in this country that can count 1 to 1,000, except and except that child is a genius, which is a which is very rare. And I would encourage you not to be discouraged because there's a method to the madness. Let me put it that way. There is a reason why they don't go to school before 4, right? They do not go to school before 4 years in England, and I think it's the same for America because I have friends there. Same for America. It probably will be the same for Canada. Maybe broadly similar for Australia. Finland, they don't go to school until they are 7. 7. So they will be at home with you till they are 7. So you're even complaining. If you had gone to Finland, what will happen? Anyway, that's besides the point. The point is simple. Do not rush your kids. They will do well. If you come and you find that they are not sufficiently challenged enough, don't worry. Let it just relax. They are not being left behind. They are just recalibrating, like the teachers are recalibrating their, kind of like their the way they reason and their thinking and their learning style, right? They're being so that will be my encouragement for you today. Don't be worried. Don't panic. The system here, the system back home, the system here works. Because how do you explain to school, the person that is supposed to be brainy back home in our home country, for example, the person doesn't make much progress until they probably come here. They have a lot of more research, they have a lot more support, their brains are engaged in a different way, and they become more prominent. So it speaks volumes to our approach to education back home. Please, for my friends back home, I'm not saying that you're doing a bad job. I'm just trying to explain to those that have managed or that have been fortunate to come out of Nigeria, for example, or any other African country or even West Africa as a whole, to a developed country and they receive a shock. It's always an initial when they come and they think that their children are supposed to be continuing from where they left, but it's not always the case. It is not always the case because that's not the way the system here works. So don't panic. Just sit down and relax and watch things. Just give it time. It will all settle. Are they in the right class for their age group? As long as they are in the right class for their age group, then you are fine. They will be fine. There is no need to bamboozle their tiny brains with strong, heavy duty mathematics. There's no need to bamboozle their heavy brain with strong heavy duty English. Like their brains are very young. They need to play. They let through play. You need to give them room to explore. Take them out to the park. You know, take them to play. Let them play with sand. Let them climb. Let them run around. Yes, a little bit of learning. Yeah, a little bit at least learning to count when it's time for them. For those that their children are not yet 4. So if you have a child that is not 4 yet, you can start with little letters, learning your A's and B's to Z, and writing their names, just basic things. Start in classroom, but not 20 times table at age 4. Ah, that's too much for a 4-year-old. So I think that's just what I'm going to talk about today. So maybe tomorrow I would probably give you tips on how to start. I can only speak for where I am at now. So I can't do beyond where I know what I know. I don't have any child in my son just got in secondary school, so I can't talk about secondary, but I can talk about primary and
Loves to.
what do you want?
By speaking. Huh?
Yes. Okay. No. Okay, go. Go close the door. Thank you. That's my close the door, thanks. That's my daughter. She's going to bed. So I can only talk to where share what I have found out about the next stage. So, and please don't ask me anything about university just yet because I have no idea what was. Well, I wouldn't say I don't have an idea. I have an idea, right? But because I've not experienced, I may not know much. But if there is any question you want to ask me, children and how you can prepare them, and everything, let me know because that is my topic. Primary school is very important, but most important stage of a child's life is secondary school. So you need to be smart with your decisions for that school. You need to be smart on your choices for secondary school. You're going to rely not just on your child, rely on the strength of your child and make that decision that is best for them. So I'm going to pause here today and leave it there. Tomorrow we'll continue the series, and I hope you have a good evening. In all, welcome to UK if you're just new, and don't worry about your child. Be perfectly fine. Have a good evening.